Hi, friends. This is the reading lesson for third grade. We are going to read the second half of All Kinds of Communities. So you should be open to page 16 in your booklet. So far, we learned about communities in general, and we know that they can differ by size, location, jobs, and the people who make up that community. But all communities are places that people call home. Okay. And then we learned about a place called Farmersville in Texas. It is a rural town that does a lot of farming, but they also have things that are important like festivals and football and cheerleading. They grow onions, corn, and cotton there. Today, we are going to read about two more communities. We're going to read about a river community, which you'll see on page 16, and a diverse community, which you'll see on page 18. And you might be very familiar with the one on page 18 because it is not too far up the road from San Diego. So make sure you're on page 16. You will be highlighting as it is being read. And remember, we want to highlight important things about that community, those key details that you would want to tell somebody else after reading this story. At the end, we'll be writing our main ideas. So if you're ready, we'll get started.
St. Louis, a River Community by Keisha Paul. The Mississippi River flows through the middle of the United States. Many communities have grown along the banks of this mighty river. St. Louis, in Missouri, is one of the biggest. Almost 3 million people live in or around this city. I am one of those people. The Mississippi River cuts through the middle of my city. With such easy access to water, it's no wonder many people here enjoy boating and fishing.
St. Louis is a major city in the eastern part of Missouri. The Gateway Arch is the most famous sight in the city.
All right, so let's make sure that you have been highlighting. If I were highlighting, I would have highlighted that 3 million people live in or around this city, that St. Louis is one of the biggest in Missouri that are along the riverbank of the Mississippi River. So we kind of highlighted bits and pieces of those sentences so we can know exactly what we're kind of learning about. People enjoy boating and fishing. That makes total sense because they have a river that runs right through the middle of it, right? And maybe you've seen pictures of this Gateway Arch before, or maybe you've been there and seen it yourself. Pretty fascinating. Let's go ahead and we're going to read the whole page of page 17.
The Mississippi has affected the community in other ways, too. It brought many people into the area beginning in the 1700s. The river was also the starting point for people moving west in the 1800s. That's how St. Louis got the nickname Gateway to the West. Today, people call St. Louis the Gateway City. Natives like me prefer the shorter St. Louis. The Mississippi River also helped create businesses. People built factories along the riverbanks. Also, ships could travel in and out of the city to deliver goods. As a result, manufacturing and shipping became two major industries in the community. Factories still produce cars and other products. Ships still transport oil, coal, and other goods. Banking, science, and medicine are important to the local economy, too. Tourism is another important business. Visitors come from all over the world to see the mighty Mississippi and other sights, like the famous Gateway Arch. Baseball fans from far and near, like me, come to watch our team, the Cardinals. Go Redbirds!
Factory work is an important part of the economy in St. Louis.
All right, so we know that it tells us in paragraph 13 that the Mississippi River has it brought many people to the area. So they call it the Mississippi. Actually, probably should highlight the too. So the Mississippi brought many people into the area beginning in the 1700s. It was the starting point for people that wanted to move west, okay? And it got a nickname of Gateway to the West. So moving west was like towards California, actually. And they call it the Gateway City or St. Louis. That's kind of cool to have a nickname for your city. It says the Mississippi River also created businesses. They built factories along the riverbanks so ships could travel in and out to deliver goods. So manufacturing and shipping became two major industries in the community. So kind of a lot to highlight in that paragraph, and that's okay. Sometimes paragraphs are just jam-packed with information. It says factories produce cars and other products still to this day. Ships still transport oil, coal, and other goods. And then it says banking, science, and medicine are important here too. And then it says in paragraph 16 that St. Louis is a big place for tourism. Now, I've never been there, but my brother used to travel there. He used to live in Nebraska, and so he would travel down to St. Louis. And so tourism is important for their businesses. Visitors come from all around the world to see the Mississippi River and other sites. And it says they have baseball fans that root for the Cardinals. So we should probably highlight what the visitors come for. The Mississippi River, the Gateway Arch, and baseball fans like the Cardinals. Pretty cool. I didn't know much about St. Louis before reading this article. I've never been, but I think I would like to go sometime. All right, let's go ahead and move on to page 18, where we learn about Los Angeles, just our neighbor up the road, so to speak. All right, get your highlighters ready. There's going to be a lot of information.
Los Angeles, a diverse community by Gabrielle Garcia. Los Angeles is one of the biggest cities in the country. More than 4 million people live in the city. About 6 million more reside in the surrounding areas. Many of them work in creative industries such as film and television. The population of Los Angeles, LA, is not only big, it is also diverse. That means many different kinds of people live in the community. More than 200 languages are spoken in LA. Native Americans were the first people to make this area their home. Spanish settlers came in the 1700s. They named this place Los Angeles. That means the angels. Since then, many other groups have moved here. Why not? The weather here is awesome. It is sunny and warm year-round.
Los Angeles is a large city in the southern part of California. Los Angeles is a sprawling city that covers a large area.
All right, so if you look at this map right here, San Diego is right here in the bottom corner, very close to Mexico. And then here's Los Angeles, so not too far, about a 2-hour drive or so. It is one of the biggest cities in the country. So in the United States, it's one of the biggest cities. It says more than 4 people live in this city. Wow. And if you recall from yesterday, I told you that San Diego has a population of about 1.4 million. So if you compare that to Los Angeles has 4 million. Okay? So almost 4 times as many, actually probably about 3 times or so as many as San Diego. So it says that many of them work In creative industries such as film and television, there's lots of television and film studios up in LA. Maybe you've seen one before. It says it's not only big, but it's diverse. So diverse means that there are many people there with different cultures, different languages, different backgrounds. So we're going to learn more about that on this page where we see this pie chart. But it says more than, so it means many different kinds of people live in that community and more than 200 languages. That is crazy. So you could just be walking on the street and somebody next to you could be speaking a different language. It says that Native Americans were the first people to settle here. Spanish settlers came in the 1700s and they named this place Los Angeles because it means the angels. That's pretty cool. Since then, many other groups have moved here, and why not? The weather is awesome, which us living here in San Diego, we know exactly what that means because we get that same great sunny weather. All right, let's keep on going.
Today, Latinos make up the biggest group. A lot of Latino residents were born and raised in LA, including me. My family came from Mexico long ago. Other newer residents have come from Central America and other places. As a result, the city has a thriving immigrant population. Immigrants have brought their culture to this community and helped make it a fun place. Throughout the year, Angelinos enjoy all kinds of parades and festivals. For instance, Cinco de Mayo honors the traditions of Mexico. The Golden Dragon Parade celebrates the Chinese New Year. These events reflect the rich culture in my diverse community.
Each May, Los Angeles holds Cinco de Mayo celebrations. This circle graph shows the different groups of people living in Los Angeles.
All right, so let's go ahead and highlight and then we'll talk about this pie chart right here. So it says Latinos make up the biggest group, and a lot of Latinos were born and raised in LA. This person says that her family came from Mexico long ago. Others came from Central America. And it has a thriving immigrant population. So what that means is that people that have immigrated there or come there from a different country are thriving, and they make up a big part of the population that makes Los Angeles a successful place to live. And it says that they've also brought their culture to this community, which makes it a fun place to live because you get to experience different cultures. It says down here, it kind of explains some of the different cultures that they celebrate. Cinco de Mayo, which is May 5th, honors the traditions of Mexico. The Golden Dragon Parade celebrates the Chinese New Year. And these events reflect the rich culture, which is very cool. And if you're in my class, and maybe Mrs. Smith's class, I'm not sure, we learned about Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year just at the beginning of the month, I believe. And or I guess back in February. And it was pretty cool to learn about those different cultures. Okay, so moving on to this circle graph right here, it says that Hispanic or Latino make up almost half of the population, 48.5%. So that's almost 50%, which is half. Then after that is white people, which is 28.7%. And then you have some other groups. African Americans are 9%, Asians are 11.3%, and multiracial people are 2.5%. So what that means is like one person has maybe Hispanic and Asian in them, or Hispanic and African American, or white and African American. So they have two races that make up their background. All right, so much good information here. And now what we are going to do is we are going to go back to page 17 and 16, and we're going to write a main idea. So go ahead, put your pencils or your highlighters down and grab your pencils. We're going to write it on page 17 because there's more room. And we're going to do this one together, and then you are going to do the one about Los Angeles on your own. So we know that a big part of St. Louis's community is the river, right? So we should probably start by saying that St. Louis is on the Mississippi. Make sure you capitalize Mississippi and river because they're both part of its name, which is important for businesses, right? Such as, and I want you to fill in these blanks. So we learned about 3 things that the river helps, 3 types of businesses. And if you're not sure, I'm going to tell you where to look. So you can learn about 2 of them in paragraph 14. And remember, we're looking for like those industries or the businesses, what types of businesses. And in paragraph 16. Okay, so St. Louis is on the Mississippi River, which is important for businesses such as blank, blank, and blank. So you're going to pause the video and fill that in. Then you will submit that on Canvas. If you're in Mrs. Peterson's class, Mrs. Smith may or may not have you do that as well. When you're ready, let's turn to page 18 and 19. We're going to write our main idea on page 19. And here we learned about Los Angeles. And actually, I changed my mind. We're going to do this one all together. So you'll just be submitting the St. Louis main idea on Canvas. So we learned that Los Angeles is a big city with a large, diverse population, right? It has many immigrants who live there. Oops. Which represents a variety of cultures, right? We learned that the cultures in LA are a big part of who they are. So Los Angeles is a big city with a large, diverse population. It has many immigrants who live there, which represent a variety of cultures. Wow, I really enjoyed reading this article. I learned a lot about some different communities around our United States. All right, friends, that's it for today. Great job. Don't forget to submit your St. Louis main idea. We'll see you later.